Please note that due to technical difficulties, there are numerous dead spots in this recording. City staff is endeavoring to prevent this from reoccurring.
All right, 6:30 call meeting order. Council met in closed session and gave direction to staff on both items. All members are present except Ms. Karen Burnett. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
So let's pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now you get it. Yeah. Unless there's somebody else would like to lead, we're going to skip this part tonight. No takers? Jerry?
Jerry can do it.
Our most gracious Father, Heavenly Father, we pray at this time, Father, that you be here to guide and direct all the action that is taken tonight and correct decisions will be made. We pray that in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
Good job, Jerry.
I knew you were the man for the job. All right, we have proclamation, recognitions, appointments, presentation. We have two proclamations this evening. First one is being January 2022 Human Trafficking Prevention and Awareness Month. President to accept proclamation will be empowered to him domestic violence victims advocate Maggie Michael.
I just wanted to have a few things just to let you know that the human trafficking at the moment, in the last year, we have helped 16 victims of human trafficking in Tehama County. Of those, 6 were adults, the rest were children. And it is a very arduous thing to help victims of human trafficking. There's a lot of easy money, so try and get them back on into services. And we've got one client at the moment who has been very successful. We've had her in counselling for 3 years, helping her with housing, and she's now got a job, and she's doing really well. So, that's a really wonderful thing. Did you also want another one on stalking, correct?
Yeah, the second one is proclamation January 2022 National Stalking Awareness Month. President to accept.
Well, we had an interesting, a few years ago, we realized that we were getting a lot more clients coming in and saying to us that they were victims of stalking. And it's one of the hardest things for victims, because when you call the police and you say, he's driving past my house every night, and they go, do you have any evidence? No. Do you have a picture? No. How do you know? I know it's a thing, that kind of thing. I recognize the truck sound. It's really difficult, so it's crazy making for the victims. And we have had over 1,292 victims of domestic violence this last year who have been stalked. And some of them have been minor stalking events. A few years ago we had a really amazing case that they said Red Block PD developed, and he was coming into a house and painting the walls with nastiness and everything else like this, and really difficult to catch, so they finally did, and we went away for a while. But these are really hard things to deal with. We try every day, and I appreciate the fact that Corny is helping us, and Corny PD we've been working much closer with for the last year. It's been a really good experience for us, and hopefully for them too. We've been telling their officers.
We do appreciate everything you guys do. If you would like to read these proclamations to the audience, you're more than welcome to. Lisa's gone and she's our reader.
I can do that. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll read the Stalking Awareness Month proclamation. Whereas under the laws of all 50 states, the U.S. Territories, District of Columbia, and the federal government, stalking is a crime. And the majority of the victims are stalked by someone they know. And whereas 3 in 4 women killed by an intimate partner have been stalked by that intimate partner. Whereas many stalking victims lose time from work and experience serious psychological distress and lost productivity at a much higher rate than the general population. And whereas many stalking victims are forced to protect themselves by relocating, changing their identities, changing jobs, and obtaining protection orders, whereas many stalkers use technologies such as cell phones, global positioning systems, GPS cameras and spyware to monitor and track their victims. And whereas criminal justice systems can enhance their responses to stalking by regular training and assertive investigation and prosecution of the crime, and whereas laws and public policies must be continually adapted to keep pace with new tactics used by stalkers, and whereas communities can better combat stalking by adopting multidisciplinary responses by teams of local agencies and organizations, and by providing more and better victim services. Whereas Encounter Hamer is joining forces with victim service providers, criminal justice officials, and concerned citizens throughout the Hamer County in the United States to observe National Stalking Awareness Month. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Robert Snow, as Mayor of the City of Corning, do hereby proclaim January 2022 as Stalking Awareness Month in the City of Corning. I applaud the efforts of the many victim service providers and encourage all citizens to become more informed of this growing problem, to be vigilant, report suspicious activity, and to work towards solutions to end stalking in all its forms in our community. And then we have human trafficking. Human Trafficking Prevention and Awareness Month. Whereas the United States was founded on the principle that all people are created with the unalienable right to freedom, and the 13th Amendment to the Constitution makes slavery illegal, whereas human trafficking is a modern-day slavery, claiming nearly 40 billion victims worldwide, and found in the United States most often in the form of sexual exploitation, forced labor, involuntary servitude, and debt bondage. And whereas this horrific crime denies human dignity and freedom, fuels organized crime, and exists in our nation, our state, and our own community. Whereas although the awareness of this crime is growing, human trafficking continues to go unreported due to its isolating nature, misunderstanding of its definition, and the lack of awareness about its indicators. Whereas increased community education on how to identify victims of human trafficking, as well as knowledge of available resources and services for those affected by this crime, can help to restore freedom and dignity to survivors and diminish the number of future victims. Whereas every business, community, organization, faith community, family, and individuals can make a difference by choosing products not made by forced labor, working to protect our young people from sexual exploitation, addressing the problem of internet sex trafficking and pornography, and by acknowledging the problem and working towards solutions. Whereas the City of Corning joins Encounter Hamer in their dedication to providing community outreach and education, legislative advocacy, training, promotion of services to survivors of human trafficking, and collaboration with law enforcement. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Robert Snow, as Mayor of the City of Corning, do hereby proclaim January 2022 as Human Trafficking Prevention Month in the City of Corning. I encourage all and to work towards solutions to end trafficking in all its forms in our community. If you observe behavior that indicates possible human trafficking, contact the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 888-373-7888. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, moving on to public comments, business from the floor. Now is the time if there's anybody from the audience that would like to speak on an item that is not on the agenda. The mic's yours. If there's anybody out there who'd like to get up and speak. Diane?
Well, if anybody has any, there we go, I think it's on there. Okay, if anybody has any leftover material from, or waste, I should say, from the holidays, like many people, I know my garage is still filled with empty boxes and looks like a disaster of the Amazon distribution warehouse, give us a call. We're doing our next bulky item pickup coming up this Friday on the 14th. So please contact us tomorrow to schedule your pickup. We'll pick up bagged items, bagged trash, so if you have stuff left over from parties, let us know. We'll even pick up appliances and furniture, although if it's still in good working condition, I always encourage folks to donate to a local thrift shop, but if it's no longer in good working condition, we'll be happy to pick it up for you. And again, this is curbside. If you miss us this Friday, no worries, we still have the drop-off scheduled for February 11th, where you come to us at 3281 Highway 99 West. Please bring proof of residency, but you don't need to have an appointment. The phone numbers to contact us to schedule the bulky item pickup for this Friday is, you can contact the local office at 530-824-4690, or you can contact the general customer service line, which is the toll-free 866-825-7190. I also wanted to make mention of the new 2022 collection calendars. You will find those in your January invoices along with the winter newsletter to come along with it. Now, I have heard that some folks may have had a delay in receiving their invoice. So just know that I double-checked last week. I know that we got the invoices out. If there was a delay in receiving it, I apologize for the inconvenience. But if you're looking for information that I just talked about, we're more than happy to be able to provide all that information to you and other methods. So what I mean is if you're looking for your collection calendar and you haven't received your invoice with the collection calendar, you can get the copy of the calendar on the website, WN.com. It's there. You can also contact us at either one of the numbers that I had already provided, and we're happy to be able to email it to you that way. Or we can even mail you a hard copy from the local office. So just letting you know. And this is also if you're not receiving .com, so that way you can access all of the information that comes in your invoice. You can see it online, you can make payments online, you can access the collection calendar online, everything is all set up. Plus there's a WM app, all that's free. You just go into your Play Store to be able to access it and upload it into your phone. For more of the Chamber of Commerce is I wanted to thank the City of Corning for the city's dignitaries RSVPing for the annual installation dinner coming up at the end of the month on January 29th. Thank you all so much. We're really looking forward to it. And
is there anybody else from the audience that would like to speak on an item that's not on the agenda? All right, I'm going to close public comment. Consent agenda. There's nothing out of the ordinary on the agenda. We got some authorized payment invoice.
Consent items 3 to 13 from consent agenda.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. Mark for a one-year term, and that would be Robin.
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, tonight I bring forward the proposed extension for a one-year contract with Invermark, our current wastewater treatment operators. They, through multiple names but the same staff, have been operating our plant since 2011. The current contract expires December 31st of this last year. City staff requested a one-year extension from Invermark to allow for the State Water Board to finalize our general permit Infomark has submitted all of our reporter waste discharge and all of the documents required. We're just currently waiting on the state to finalize that permit for us. Once we get that permit, staff will be going out to bid or bringing to you the option to go out for proposals to see what our options are for operating costs. This is city funding, so we feel it's in our best interest, in the city's best interest, to see what options we have and to make sure we're paying adequately or correctly for the services that they're providing. We have no problems with their operating at this point in time. We're very happy with what they're doing out at the plant. The extension agreement adjusts the annual compensation just like it would in previous years based on the CPI, consolidates the maintenance fund and the sludge removal fund, which is consistent with what we're currently doing. We're just cleaning up paperwork. It adds industrial monitoring services, which is under a separate contract, but we were just wrapping it all into this one for the 1-year extension. And then it also terminates the 2012 industrial monitoring contract, again, just wrapping it. We have employees from Infomark here if you have any questions, or I can answer questions on that.
You guys have any questions?
No, I think Infomark's doing a wonderful job, and I would like to say that they're, in my experience, they're community oriented, and I'm very happy with their services.
Should we? Yeah. Haven't heard anything negative about the boys out there at all. They've always been good to work with. They do an excellent job for the community. And until we know exactly where we're
That being said, I'll move that Mayor and Council approve the wastewater treatment plant operations contract extension with Infomark for a 1-year term.
And second it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This will pass unanimous. Yeah, you're staying there, so I'm thinking you probably got the next one too.
Christina nicely placed them all together.
On the purchasing of a programmable sign.
So, this item is a discussion item, and we're seeking council's direction. In previous years, fiscal year 1920, council approved an amount of $7,000 in the budget to purchase a used we were not able to obtain it within our budget and within a budget where we can even put batteries on it to make it operational. We did not budget any money this last year into our budget for the signs, but we have been asked by council to bring back a couple options. That Caltrans uses, they can be used for street projects. They have 3 lines of text. I have located them within a government purchasing contract. It is to replace the existing transportation center sign, which is across the street, with a new monument sign and an LED display. So that's my, talking about. The sign would include the city logo, transportation center. We can include the tracks logo, anything we want on the top portion, which we're doing. The bottom portion of the sign would have 4 lines of colored text. It can be images, graphics, text, and it would be readable from both sides. Both directions of traffic would see the sign as they were coming. I had them review the location to make sure we wouldn't have problems with speed. The intersection, the railroad tracks, and all of those things work in our favor for the location. Slows people down, people aren't going 50 miles an hour past it, causing people to look over at it. The cost for that sign is approximately $33,000. That includes all labor for a new foundation, for concrete, for the digital sign, and for 10 years of the cellular connection to be able to change the sign without having to take hard lines over this. So it's all changed via phone, computer, iPad, through security portals in the cloud. So not everyone can do it, but that is all included in the cost. So we won't get a monthly fee or anything on top of the purchase of the sign. So two directions that we would like council to kind of consider and give us direction before we go forward purchasing signs or asking you for supplemental appropriation, or before we have the design consultant go a little bit further in a design for us specifically.
I have a question on the portable one. Say there's 3 lines, but you can have 3 lines and then change the 3 more lines, all same message, or are you just limited to one display?
And I would have to look at this one. We'll change like 3 lines, and then the next, there's a different screen that has 3 more lines.
Yeah.
I would have to look at this one to see if that is an option.
Yeah, I'd really like to know that.
Let me take a really quick.
Me personally, I'm more in favor. Working on a project in an area, they could, you know, if they're gonna have a road closed, they could, you know, put it out there for them. That's just my opinion. I think they're more versatile. This programmable one here is beautiful and would be very nice, but
Oh, yeah.
Or 3-line display.
Yeah. I think I'm just throwing it out there, there's other options, but I
What do you think, Shelley? I know you weren't here when we started this. I know the original thought was when we have downtown events, whether it's, you know, all the festival over at the park, our food trucks, get about. But I personally am in favor of a portable signage also because to me, it meets the need for what our original intention was. It's not a permanent fixture, but you're able to put the sign where the event's going on versus
Right.
one.
that kind as well, but I don't think it's what you had, you know, in mind originally.
well, it doesn't matter what I had in mind originally.
I mean, when it was brought.
Yeah. I was just voicing my personal preference as the portable ones, but everybody has an opinion.
Those portable ones look nice.
Well, it's good for enough money.
I know.
What do you think, Chewy? What's your thoughts?
I like the programmable one right here by the transportation department way better. I think it would reach more people, coming from both sides, and it's just in the center of town, so I think it's perfect.
Like I said, I'm not against it at all, but it doesn't fit exactly what our thoughts were when we brought this to the table a couple years ago, but we weren't thinking this direction either.
And a couple of years ago, we didn't have a new park going in over here with events that could be held at the park.
There's no park. It's not a park. It's a recreation
I'm
center.
sorry, a recreation center.
We get yelled at for calling it a park.
But that can also benefit that as well. But I get, it could be helpful down by the freeway when you have people coming off the freeway and
All right. You got any other info? You have a question, Ryan?
Yeah, just to comment, so, in other words, if we have the one at the transportation center, would that still be in addition to the lines advertising what's in the building, or would that be replaced by the sign?
But advertising what's in the building, having the city logo on it, and then the city would have control for the programmable information. Rec stuff, those types of things can go on it. Just to throw it out there, I'm really for the day in Red Bluff, we are doing repairs on them. So that's my concern, not knowing how they will be reflected in our community.
Well, you know, same thing with this. I mean, somebody drive by and throw a beer bottle through it or something.
Well, if there's no more discussion, do I have a motion from somebody?
It's not a motion, it's just direction.
Oh, this is just direction, we're not gonna
And I will bring
vote. You wanna
the
vote
final-
either way? Okay.
Yeah.
Option 2, the transportation sign.
Oh, great. Karen?
But it's hard when you don't have 5 compliments.
We'll keep watching Big Cal. Chris and I watch it all the time. Big Cal and Rich.
You can advertise all kinds of things with it, and
I thought you were going to talk Sierra Pacific out of this one. Was I here?
There's a potential that our crew could help do the removal of old sign and stuff and stuff. So we will work through those items and get the numbers to us and bring back the final proposal.
we'll keep looking for
Yes.
portables.
We'll keep looking for that.
Yep.
I'll start marking the sales on my calendar as they pop up.
Thank you. Is there anything else from you guys, anybody?
No.
All right.
If anybody sees affordable, let us know.
Yes.
I do have a quick question. This might be for Colin. back up to the previous item. I was going through it the other day and I forgot to bring it up. When it shows the original contract, it has Steve Kimbrough listed as a city manager and Michael Fitzpatrick as a city attorney. Does that need to be updated?
We're replacing the contract with this amendment, correct?
Right.
I saw that.
The new managers will be Christina and,
And Colin, he's our attorney.
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty, we're gonna move on to item number 16. I'm almost there. Item number 15? 16. Approve plans and specifications and authorize staff to that would be probably.
So we have proceeded moving forward and preparing specifications and plans to go out to bid for the resurfacing of the north side court. The resurfacing includes changing the color. We're going to change it to blue and green, so it's a little more natural. Four new pickleball courts on the east side of what is currently a tennis court. Remove the existing post and net, and then install new posts and permanent net for all four pickleball courts. That is the proposed project at this time. We're asking council to authorize us.
I'm excited to see how it turns out and see, there's a lot of talk about it in the community and the surrounding areas. They seem to really enjoy it in Chico. So I'm excited to see how our community embraces it and if people from out of Okay.
Take a look.
Well, does anybody in the audience have any questions on that? If not, do I have a motion? So passed unanimous. Thank you, Robin. Item number 17, direct staff.
Members. Let me see which one we're doing the playground, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So wood chips so that our house looks kind of a hot field. That was that first option from Park Planet. The cost on that is $42,246.34. The second option is with a company called Compman Play Equipment. As you can see with their option, I believe that we're going to get a lot more. $43,832. wood chips from them will come from the Sierra Pacific plant at the street, and again, we will be looking into the AB 109 guys to spread those. With the complement option, the dome climber will need to come out. There won't be enough room for it, so we'll need to. With the complement option, we're asking to transfer $1,300.32 out of the general fund reserve. One of the questions that we had for the complement salesman is that's kind of like a raw wood. They rave about it. So if what I'm asking of you is to make a decision this evening on which option you would prefer to go with. And if you have any questions on any of them, I can help you. Wooden poles that complement.
No, those are more or less Peeler cores,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Those plastic meant to look like wood is the Park Planet.
Everything with Park Planet is plastic.
Mexico Park?
No, the Park Planet type of material is the same stuff we have at Yost Park. The
And you said this other
complement
one's
product, we don't have anything like that here in town. That was
there for the children to play with.
Well, it's kind of hardcore-y and kids
kids get slivers of stuff off some poles though.
Yeah.
And concerning the dome, are you gonna leave it as is, or are you gonna repaint it because it's rusted?
Well, you know what's interesting about that is we thought the same thing, but we looked back at pictures from years ago, and it looks identical to that. So if the metal itself is rusted, that is something we could think about. It will stay if we go with the Park Planet.
It's being structurally not
Right.
safe. So if it's rusted, I haven't noticed it rusted, but if it is structurally sufficient, then we will have to remove it.
Because it's huge. I've never seen a dome that big before.
Yeah.
I do like I said, option.
Much space in that option one.
That's because it's depicted as a bigger park than what we're looking at over there too, I think.
And it's supposed to be spatially accurate.
Yes.
Yeah, there's not a lot to it.
No. 6 looks like fun.
What are you thinking, Davey?
I like the fact that number 2 has a lot more options. I just am a little worried about the wood and, I mean, okay, and inspect the poles, make sure they're,
Yeah, and we could have our parks guy look at
Yeah.
it, more periodically.
that would be my only concern is the wood,
Yeah.
I'm in favor of option 2 for the fact that there's more bang for the buck, I think. You think
2 and 2.
Yeah.
Option 1.
Talk about the facilities policy, and I'm going to talk about hearing Tina Baker, who runs our youth soccer league. She's contacted me and let us know that there's a they travel a lot. So she contacted me to have the lights
turned on at Lennox Field, which generally we don't turn the lights on at Lennox Field after the soccer season's over. So it was a little what damage is that going to do to the field when it's already not in that great shape. So the league came to the conclusion on that we need to bring it to council and let them make a good decision. Lighting, we don't have any kind of an agreement with any of our and causing possible injuries and how is that getting fixed and things like that. So
Honorable Mayor and Council. So when Christy was approached by
that park's intended for softball. There are some rain and shine tournaments that go on in the early spring, and if that field gets tore up for a use that is not intended, then the people that try to utilize that field for its intent are the ones that suffer. But that's my opinion of that. The other field that is intended for soccer use, as long as we have a policy in place and we can work together with the leagues to make sure that we're giving them every opportunity available, I'm all in favor of this. But we do have to have some kind of, as you put it, checks and balances. We can't just let our fields get destroyed because we don't have the staffing here to maintain them. And then we would have to bring in outside contractors to try to maintain the fields every spring. So there has to be some kind of happy medium there. But I am in favor of working something out that we can let the fields be utilized.
And city policy thus far, which is extremely uncommon, is that we do not charge any fees to any of the leagues that use our field. So with that, there's an understanding that, our folks at the field are maintained to a certain degree. This soil in particular at Lennox Field is very poor, and I think we're all, well, at least most of the council I think is aware of that they had to pull off all the topsoil in order to have the correct slope for the field, and so there's been sort of issues for that reason.
Yeah, it's definitely a field that in coming years we definitely need to do a lot of rehab to it and get that thing to where it should have been to begin with.
What age group of kids are we discussing here?
I believe they're teens.
I didn't see it on here anywhere, but it may be there.
They're not in high school, but they're about 12.
Yeah. If you'd like to stand up and talk, yeah.
Sorry guys, my first time. So right now I personally have two teams. I have a group of U17, so they're 1-75, meaning they're under the age of 17. Kids that are in high school right now, juniors, I have some sophomores and a couple freshmen on that team. These are kids that some made the team, and then some that didn't, still trying to get active and play the sport that they love, and it's been hard the last month, really, for these guys to get any sort of playing or activity with no fields at all being used with the under 14 I think they're right now still. So they're 8th graders right now. Again, this is the team that right now is currently ranked 22 in the state of California. So like you mentioned, it's a very, very not expected from a small town like this. We are constantly competing against teams from Sacramento who have other resources. Field, we invite them. They have to come out sometimes, and they come to our field, and sometimes it's a little bit embarrassing, for us parents and coaches and the kids themselves, that they have to play on these fields when every weekend we go out and we play on these super nice fields, all turf, sometimes we even play grass, and those are perfectly fine, so the only reason that we have to be able to compete against those other teams from the Sacramento area. Those teams are, not only do they have the option to choose from 6 different cities to find the best, but they also have the resources to practice throughout the year, and even in indoor like I said, we ended up having to play, I think, 17-year-olds because there was not enough kids in our age bracket, or we'd have to play 10-year-olds. So it would either be way too easy or at risk for our kids to get hurt. If another option for us would be going to Yuba City, this we practice is because we know the demand to stay where we're at. Right now we are currently playing in the Premier League or level. Just so you guys get an understanding, there are about 6 different levels: copper, bronze, silver, gold, Premier, and then there's NPL, which is the National Playing League. So we are amongst the best here in the state of California, which is, like I said, very, very, very rare, for a team that comes out of maybe 12,000 people, so.
Well, congratulations on
Yeah,
that.
that's outstanding.
It's quite an accomplishment. And I'm all in favor of letting the kids use it. I mean, you know, it's anything to keep them active and keep them, if they're playing soccer, they're not out getting in trouble.
Exactly, yeah, that's definitely something that I, think as well. I know when I grew up, I mean, I've always had that outlet, so I want to keep having that outlet for these kids. I mean, the younger ones I've had them for about 6 years now, you know, and these kids have grown up with me, you know, and we always push them to be, you know, exemplary students as well as great athletes, you know, so those kids are 10 times as talented as I am, or as I ever was, you know, so, you know, not only the league, but the Corning High School sports program is going to have some great talented kids, and not just soccer. I mean, these kids can run really fast, you know, are big and strong, so football team's going to look good, track and field, cross country, you know, every sport, I think, for the next couple of years after these guys go into the high school, we're going to have some good teams, so I know we talked with English City about trying ourselves as a league to get the field in better condition, because like I mentioned, not only is it going to help benefit us, right, but it will benefit the city having an extra field. So if there's any way that we work on half the field at a time for the next 2 months where we don't have any games or anything, let's say for the first month we'll work on the northernmost side, right, and not practice on that side and only use the other side, and then, you know, we'll alternate so it does get a little bit aggressive. We take whatever we can do, because like I said, it's going to be nice to come out and invite teams to come play over here for league games, and, you know, they're going to see a decent field, more so than we have in the past couple of years.
Is this the first time you've had to practice at night, or?
No, we have practiced before. Like I said, this is the first year that we have practiced. We've practiced throughout the winter. And we would turn the lights on ourselves at 6 o'clock and turn them on right at 8, you know, just to minimize the time that we have them on. And that's what we've done, I think, throughout the last 5 years, 4 years, is what we've done.
We also use Bailey Gym.
Yeah, we also use the Bailey Gym, but of course with COVID, it's very... just with COVID. So we did also use, you know, whenever it rained, we understood, you know, we want to keep practicing, we want to keep kids active. That's why we use that gym, but of course with COVID, it's very difficult to get any sort of approval from the school. Exactly where it's going to get ugly.
If you've done it for 5 years, it's been pretty successful. I don't see a problem with it. I mean, continued use.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they've been doing it right, or we would have known about it.
Yeah.
Well, and if we agree to it and it doesn't work out after a season, I mean.
Yeah.
Because it only benefits them as well, you know. You don't want to tear it up.
I think.
Fields at Lennox could really use some aeration, and we have to do something. Is the compost that we are required to purchase. That would really be a very good soil amendment. Hopefully Bill does that first. It's not an immediate solution,
No.
but the only way we're going to improve those fields is by improving the soil.
Yeah. No, I'm in favor of letting them use the fields 100%. I'm always leery of practices happening on fields that weren't intended, because you always have that conflict. But as long as we have this agreement in place and they've been utilizing the field anyways, we know what we're asking of you. You know what's being asked of you by the city. that gives us that assurance that you guys will follow the policies. You know, we're always in favor of promoting youth in this community, so I would be in favor of it.
I too, I'm in favor of it also because these teens or preteens, that's the only sport they play all year round. That's all they love. They love the soccer. And I think if there are not many better options here in town, I'm okay with Leos being used for at night, obviously, because that's when they need it. But I think we do need to work on the turf at Lennox Field with Tina, because it's been an ongoing problem since they opened that field. And like we talk about it, but no one does anything about it. So we actually need to go over there and find out what the problem is exactly and try to.
You know what the problem is, except for the squirrels, we've contacted pest management firms and they don't have any resolution to that. So we're kind of.
But it's not just the squirrels. Like from the beginning, like that, the turf was not right to begin with.
It scraped the topsoil off, so you have no quality soil to grow grass on.
So we need to replenish it for it to have decent grass for the kids more than anybody.
Of the compost. Yeah, the only other option is, no matter what, we have to improve the soil. If we just put down new turf on the same soil, the same thing's gonna happen again.
Yeah, we would have to tear that turf out, haul in new dirt, and replant it.
So
We've discussed this in the past, and it's something that we need to sit down with somebody that actually does this for a living.
The school scraped off all that football field, which was what are they gonna do with that?
I don't know.
Well, you couldn't, I don't think, I'm not a yard maintenance guy, I don't think you could just take that dirt and throw it in there. I mean, you'd have to, I personally think you'd probably have to scrape the soil off, or the sod that's on there and just start over if you're gonna do it the right way. I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, bottom line, agree with letting you use them. I mean, we just are kind of the police over the whole thing. But I'm all in favor of using them, and let's see if we can all work together and improve the parks.
Yeah. It doesn't do anybody good having that park system. Organization could reach out to the tribe. They have their own grounds crew that maintains that golf course out there, and it's top of the line. I play out there all the time. They know what they're doing with it. And I've talked to Drew about it before. They have a crew that does that stuff, 100%. Community, especially organizations. So that could be an avenue that we could try to go down to see if they'd be willing to do something like this and try to rehab that field. But it does need to.
Allowing Yost Park and Lennox Field's use with the Corning Youth Soccer League.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So pass unanimously.
Well, I think it's really a question for Colin and I more than anything.
Okay.
Colin already drafted a lead use agreement, so I think you have a good template to use.
We can revise that, yeah, just changing the term, it shouldn't take too long.
Okay.
We can allow them, with council direction, we can allow them to use it while we're finishing up the agreement.
I don't think anybody's objected to that.
No, not at all.
So general consensus, you guys are directed to allow use as of tomorrow.
At both bills, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But understanding this policy will be followed at both fields.
And bring home some trophies.
Yes. Make Corey proud.
We almost did. We got a tournament, right before Christmas, and we got second. And we got one goal, and we lost, in the final. We tied 0-0, and we went to penalty kick. So, yeah, we had a lot of tears shed, but like I said, we had a really great tournament. We played some really, really great teams, and, we got second, which is nice, but, we would have liked to, win. But we're looking forward to this upcoming season, and we go to about, 7 tournaments a year, up in Oregon, down in Sacramento, Griffin, all throughout, Northern California and in Oregon. So we travel a lot, and we're hoping to bring some more trophies. I think we had a year where we won like 5. I got a lot of them sitting in my house, a lot of medals. So, these are really good kids, and doing good. So,
Thank you for working with them too.
Thank you.
Dedicating your time to guide these kids.
That's awesome. Alrighty, well, we'll move along to item number 19, consider creation of a Proposition 68 Recreation Center and
Thank you.
Yep, thanks for coming tonight, guys.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and Council. So as you all are aware, the city was awarded $8.5 million to construct a recreation center, city plaza, amphitheater, splash pad, and walking path, just right directly across 4th Street. That whole entire city block will be demolished to build all of those aforementioned items. We have a lot of work to do, and it sounds like it's a long ways away, but we have a lot of work to do. It doesn't have to go through any Brown Act meeting like this. You have to agendize 72 hours before. We have to draft minutes. We have to approve minutes. It's very staff labor intensive. An ad hoc committee provides the oversight facade. So what the ad hoc committee would review are different looks of mission style facade. The same thing with the type of splash pad feature do you want on that perimeter? Does that make sense? I feel that it'll really streamline the process. But still get that community input, but at the same time, not cause that involvement without having to go through Brown Act and posting agendas and everything that we have to do as staff to hold a meeting like this. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. If you'd like the committee to consist of something else, I'm more than happy to be open to that, but I can't have more than two council members without triggering the Brown Act.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's a good idea, and I participated in the community meeting before the grant, while you were renting the grant. And it was great. The process was really great on how, we chose different aspects of the park. I think it's a great idea.
And there will be meetings every week, they'll be on an as-needed basis, just as we find needs and where we need direction from the community and from the ad hoc committee.
So we're looking for volunteers?
Well, yes, so one, are you supportive of the concept?
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you are, then, which two council members want to or are willing to?
I'll do it.
ad hoc committee?
I'll volunteer.
I do too.
Yeah, for it.
Yeah, sure, if you want to do it, I mean,
Suckers.
Allison knows Shelley's in charge of taking notes.
Never know.
Yeah. No, I will say, I sat through the majority of them too. That was the first time around. And it was enjoyable to watch the community members get involved and have some input and some thought. And, there are a lot of people in this community that care. All right, so with that, I need
I move Mayor and Council approve the Proposition 68 Recreation Center and City Plaza Design Ad Hoc Committee as presented, and appoint 2 city council members to the ad hoc committee and direct staff to initiate.
yes.
I like the way you said that, Mike.
I'll second that.
I can reappoint that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's so fast unanimous.
Who seconded?
I did.
Sure you did.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Well, I just backed out of the entire agenda.
Just go to the very end and you're good.
I found it. There you go. All right. And the last one, item number 19. Consider yes, number 20.
So is that,
19 on mine.
Yeah.
going back to 2020, when we at old school, and so adapting was more difficult for us. Council chambers successfully with a meeting owl pro. Past has been in-person meetings, but I have had more staff members on quarantine or isolation, and as this progresses, this allows us some flexibility to still run a meeting while a staff member may be on quarantine or isolation. And so I wanted to bring it to your attention and give you that option. It's completely your decision. There's no requirements by law at this point requiring us to go remote or anything of that nature. It's really whether you want to facilitate or accept that I may have staff members out from time to time. And we are short-handed, so like if I'm out, Chrissy's running the meeting. The reality is that I have to have some other staff person, whether it's Chrissy or Robin or whoever it may be. Those are the two that really know the administration. Chrissy's the only person that knows how to turn on the recorder and do those types of items, but I did remember the water.
Yeah,
And
that's
remember
very
the
good.
water this time.
We'll keep you on for another meeting.
Whether you want to look at that or not.
I'm a 3 guy. I'm a 3 guy. Continue in-person meetings.
Yeah, I prefer the in-person meetings too. Having a conversation, discussion, you know, whatever you want to call it with somebody, I like to be able to interject a point, which we do here, and all you get is on your computer, and it drives me nuts. So I prefer in person.
I prefer in person as well, but I think it's a good option to have the Zoom if so I like the both option. I think it's good to be prepared. We don't know how long this is going to go on.
But yeah, in person for me.
This does not require a motion.
It does not.
Does not.
Okay. What was, maybe I missed it.
It's $999 plus tax, but we do have some grant funding.
Tina can't be here, but she needs to. Colin needs to be here, but he can't. He's on quarantine. Now you
business if they are on quarantine or isolation.
okay. So let's look into getting purchase. You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
That way you guys are prepared if that does come up, and
Okay. And
we can
then
move forward.
Colin will have to complete that resolution thereafter, allow that, correct?
Which resolution?
One that allows remote meetings.
Oh, right. Yeah, so we will have to bring that in front of you.
But it wouldn't be a complete remote meeting, it would just be a partial.
Correct. Yeah. And there would be an allowance for, assuming the public to remote in as well, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm good with that.
It's a public meeting, they should be able to.
I think
more people in the public actually would attend. More people in the public would attend if they were allowed, like we've had conversations before, you know, just have it turned on while you're cooking dinner or whatever, you can just hear what's going on. Yeah.
Live option, audio, all of it, correct?
Reopen public comment for a minute, correct? If I want to speak about something. Okay, I'm going to reopen public comment. It was brought to my attention that Tama County has decided to exceed with the CDC guidelines. To follow the CDC guidelines. Now the CDC guidelines are allowing 5-day quarantine, symptom-free, go back to work, and Tama County Health has taken a when it was 14 days, 10 days, said whatever, CDC guidelines follow them. Now that CDC says 5 days, symptom-free, our county says nah. One. That's all I have on public comment.
The ribbon cutting of the new Thrive $5 business store, right? In the
I was going to give you full details of the installation dinner coming up Saturday, January 29th at the Corning Veterans Memorial Hall. The doors will open at 5:30 and dinner will be served at 6:30. It will be a no-host bar, $35 per person. They'll be installing the officers and there'll be a table decorating contest for the businesses or any group that wants to enter. There'll be a silent auction and then live music this year.
Wow.
If you want any tickets, call the 824-5550 number or log on to www.corningcaliforniachamber.org and you have to register you guys over there, and it's just good to make an appearance to show support. So thank you for that.
What's the new income in officer?
It's Rachel Carter, Rosie Flores, Diana Ramirez, and Krista Weston. Maybe Colin will make an appearance this year. And Jerry and Dolores. That's all. Do a second term, who knows? Oh, and Christina will be there taking pictures too, and it's the Roaring 20, so come with your flappers and your suits.
Back there.